it's really all spells, man. Okay, so this is page 87. It says the obligations and rules of the right for the Jewish masses are contained in the Talmud, which is another book these devils use, and the Shulchan Aruch, but the esoteric teachings for the higher initiates are to be found in the Kabbalah. Therein are contained the mysterious rites for evocations, the indications and keys to practices for conjuration of supernatural forces, the science of numbers and astrology, etc. Okay? It says the practical application of the Kabbalist knowledge is manifested in the use made of it through the ages by Jews to gain influence both in the higher spheres of Gentile life and over the masses. It says sovereigns and popes both usually had one or more Jews as astrologers and advisors, and they frequently gave Jews control over their life by employing them as physicians. Political power was thus gained by Jews in almost every Gentile country, alongside with financial power, since Jewish court bankers manipulated state funds and taxes. And you can't really debate that because you had this guy Meyer Emshel Bauer, which he had 5 sons, which if I can remember, they went to London, Germany, France, Austria, I forget the 5th one. But when they went to those places, they basically controlled the banks, and when you control the money of a country, you control that country. All right, because when you're a bank, people come to you for a loan. When you give them that loan, you put interest on it, which is usury. All right,
like the scripture says,
yep.
Lucky, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
About how the servant is how the borrower is serving to the lender.
That's right. Yep. And this is page 193, dealing with the Mason thing. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The next thing too about how the Pope has Jewish physicians and stuff like that. If you watch the Beaugier, not the show that has the S at the end, the Beaugiers. I'm talking about the show Beaugier, right? You can type it in on whatever and find it throughout the internet. You'll see that the Pope that was that died before Rodrigo Beaugier came in and became Pope Alexander VI. That Pope before him, he had Pope Innocence. Pope Innocence. He had a Jewish physician, and guess what? The Jewish physician drained little children's blood to give it to him, right? But guess what? It didn't rejuvenate him. And then now scientists now are saying if you give young blood to older people, it will rejuvenate them. But guess what? It never rejuvenated him because the Most High wanted him to die and bring that next devil in. But and see, guess what? They killed the Jew after, because his medicine didn't work.
But that's what they do, though. They do the blood Passover. Mm-hmm. They kidnap the kids and they drain the blood. Yeah. All right, and they what do you call it? They crunch up the bodies and shit, and they sell them to McDonald's and shit. Yeah. All right, that's what they do. And then even Rodrigo Borgia, Pope Alexander VI, he was a Jew himself. The Borgias were Khazars. Yeah. All right, they were crypto Jews. They converted to Catholicism, like that guy we read about, Isaac Helmuth, who founded the University of Western Ontario. He converted to being an Anglican, but he was a Khazar. So that's what they do to get up in there. So this is page 193. It says, meantime, however, this is them speaking in the protocol, until we come into our kingdom, we shall act in the contrary way. We shall create and multiply Freemasonic lodges in all the countries of the world, absorb into them all who may become or who are prominent in public activity, for in these lodges we shall find our principal intelligence office and means of influence. All these lodges we shall bring under one central administration, known to us alone, and to all others absolutely unknown, which will be composed of our learned elders. The lodges will have their representatives who will serve to screen the above-mentioned administration of Masonry, and from whom will issue the watchword and program. In these lodges we shall tie together the knot which binds together all revolutionary and liberal elements. Their composition will be made up of all strata of society. The most secret political plots will be known to us and will fall under our guiding hands on the very day of their conception. Among the members of these lodges will be almost all the agents of international and national police, since their service is for us irreplaceable in the respect that the police is in a position not only to use its own particular measures with the insubordinate, but also to screen our activities and provide pretexts for discontents, etc. Okay? Anyone have any scriptures to bring up?
Yeah.
Right.
We passed the hider.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got a couple here. Because basically what the brother was getting into is basically like this whole these people doing the whole masonry, they're all witches, right?
Yep.
And you got these people trying to the so-called 1% trying to protest against them.
And like Jay-Z. Like the whole thing about Jay-Z and them saying, oh, you're a Mason. Like it's so popular now because it's out there, but they made it to where it's a joke now. It's in the music industry. Throw up the diamond, throw up the LCNI. It's like a joke. But really, you're actually throwing up witchcraft symbols that's bringing bad vibes on you.
Exactly.
And when you're saying all these things. So Jay-Z, man, he's nowhere, man. Okay? They can tell that nigga he's a 33rd degree Mason. Meanwhile, he's a 1 degree, man. That's how they can fuck around with you. The highest dude that knew who really controlled it was Albert Pike. You can say he was a 33rd because he knew that you got it from the Kabbalah, from the Jews, the so-called Jews. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is the law on what you're supposed to do to these witches and wizards, man.
Yep.
This is I got a couple scriptures here. This is Deuteronomy 18:10. It says, "There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy power does drive them out from before thee." So like Trayvon Martin's father, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's guilty of that because he sacrificed his son, man.
Yep.
And then many others, man. Jay-Z, I heard, I think he sacrificed his nephew, and all these other jakes out there. But this is Exodus 22:18. It says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." All right. And this is the next one. Leviticus 19:27. "A man also, or a woman that has a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, for their blood shall be upon them."
Yep.
Sure.
I got a couple things from here like I want to read. It's very quick. Just to prove that this stuff, you guys are bringing up forgeries and shit. So this is from the same book. I got a couple pages here. Okay. First page is 144. It says, "Men in masses and the men of the masses, being guided solely by petty passions, paltry beliefs, customs, traditions, and sentimental theorism, fall a prey to party dissension, which hinders any kind of agreement even on the basis of a perfectly reasonable argument. Every resolution of a crowd depends upon a chance or packed majority, which, in its ignorance of political secrets, put forth some ridiculous resolution that lays in administration a seed of anarchy." I got page 163. Sorry. I'll go to page 188. "In order that the masses themselves may not guess what they are about, we further distract them with amusements, games, pastimes, passions, people's palaces. Soon we will begin through the press to propose competitions in art, in sport of all kinds. These interests will finally distract their minds from questions in which we should find ourselves compelled to oppose them." That's why people are bugged out on your sports, man. People are, hey, some people treat sports like a religion, man. You know? One more thing, talking about these universities, page 201. It says, in order to effect the destruction of all collective forces except ours, we shall emasculate the first stage of collectivism, the universities. Why? Because what does the word university mean? Uni means one, verse to turn into one. So that's the collectivism, man. When you go to university, that's a melting pot. You're joined into that society, you know, that whole ideology. The universities, by re-educating them in a new direction, their officials and professors will be prepared for their business by detailed secret programs of action from which they will not, with immunity, diverge, not by one iota. They will be appointed with a special precaution and will be so placed as to be wholly dependent upon the government. Okay. I got one more page and then it's page 147. It says, behold the alcoholized animals be amused with drink, the right to an immoderate use of which comes along with freedom. It is not for us and ours to walk that road. The peoples of the Goyim are bemused with alcoholic liquors. Their youth has grown stupid on classicism and from early immorality. Which a lot of you jakes, that's where you're immoral, man. Into which it has been inducted by our special agents, by tutors, lackeys, governesses in the houses of the wealthy, by clerks and others, by our women in the place of dissipation frequented by the Goyim. In the number of these last I count also the so-called society ladies, voluntarily followers of the others in corruption and luxury. You know? That's why it tells you, what is it in scripture? A woman that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth.
Yep.
You know? And that was it on that. One more thing from this magazine, if you can pen in, please. It's Time magazine.
Oh shit, sour.
Time magazine. All right.
Yeah, leave it. Yeah.
Hey, fast.
That's Satan, man. You know? But yeah, this Time magazine, which I found, you know, in the convenience store, which shows you if Time magazine has these articles and documents out in the open, okay, that shows that this place is going to hell, man. This place is totally getting destroyed. All right, because everything, it tells you that Babylon's lift shall be, skirt shall be lifted. All right, so it has all this stuff on here. All right, so all right, so I wanted to read a couple stuff from here, just to further show about the Mason too. Because some brothers they make a big deal of Mason, but it's nothing big, man. You know, this is from page 12. It says, search Encyclopedia Britannica for the word Freemasons, and an unusual, though not entirely unexpected result pops up: the entry for scapegoats. So they tell you that Masons are just scapegoats. Okay, that shows they're really going, like the cause to call them, right? Let's go to page 16. It says, Freemasonry reached Britain's American colonies early, but the first regular lodge was established in Boston in 1733, which is Massachusetts, right? Yeah. So that place is wicked as hell. That's like witch capital, right? That's where the witch hunts happen too. And the witch hunts, what that was all about, was actually the witches killing the midwives, because they tricked the people into thinking that the midwives are the witches. I didn't bring that book to me today, but there's a book that tells you that. So all that witch hunt, that was actually witches killing normal women, right? It says Masons played key roles in the Continental Congress. The Brotherhood helped unite the leaders of the squabbling colonies and primed them for their quintessential Enlightenment political enterprise, the American